If I knew then what I know now, there's absolutely no way I would have tried this journey. It should have been so simple, but the more I got into the journey, the more I was convinced there was something trying to stop me, slow me down from completing the journey. Sit back, relax, and watch this simple journey go totally pear-shaped. Hi everyone, my name's Scott, this is Planes, Trains, Everything, and welcome to Paris. Today you're going to see a video which has been a nightmare to plan, an absolute nightmare. It should have been quite easy, but just things have not been going right for this video at all. It dates from 1994, and that's when Eurostar started operating between Paris and London. And I decided, let's go and try to recreate the old time journey, and that is by train from Paris to the Channel Coast, ferry across to Dover, and then a train to London. What could possibly go wrong? Well, just about everything. One train I would like to have travelled on was the night ferry, and that operated from Paris to London via Dunkirk and Dover. And although it sounds like a great journey to do, at the time I believe it was not a pleasant journey, just because the amount of noise, the clanking, the banging as the train went onto the ferry, came off again at Dover. People generally didn't get much sleep. But we look back and think, yeah, that would be a great one to do. So I thought originally, let's do a Paris to Dunkirk, Dunkirk to Dover, Dover to London Victoria. What could possibly go wrong? Well, the problem is the Dunkirk to Dover service is operated by DFDS, and they don't do foot passengers because we are an inconvenience, as you will find out. That's why this has been such a nightmare. So as a plan B, I'm going via Calais. Even that's not straightforward because there are very few direct trains between Paris and Calais. There's just no demand anymore. Back in the day you could actually go straight to the ferry terminal. There was a station called Calais Maritime, but that closed in 1995 when Eurostar opened a year earlier. No one was travelling via Calais to get to the UK. The original plan was to travel by TGV to a place called Calais Frethun and then change on to a regional service. I was travelling first class, until SNCF cancelled that train 2 days ago due to a shortage of rolling stock. So instead of having a leisurely couple of hours at Calais, I'm down to about an hour and a half-ish, and I have to get moving when I get to Calais. But first things first, I need to find my train here at Gare du Nord. So this is what happens when you book your train through a third-party website like Trainline. Instead of doing a like-for-like changeover, what they do is they use the value of the existing ticket and they buy a new ticket at the current price. Now I got a really good bargain first class, that wasn't available, and in fact I ended up paying £5 more just for a second class ticket to get me to Calais. That's what happens. Anyway, let's go and find our train, but firstly, let's find some coffee. Naturally there are two trains leaving at the same time, so I'm not quite sure which one is mine because of the change of the train. I'm not sure what the final destination is. I'll worry about that once I've had a coffee. I've noticed the departure boards don't show intermediate stops, so if you have to get off at a place called Hazebrouck, you know perfectly well not to catch the train to Valenciennes. Well, I worked that out after a cup of coffee. Right, I'm just waiting for the departure board to show what platform, because it leaves in about 15 minutes. Correction, they do show intermediate stops, but only after they've announced what platform it's leaving from. Okay, I'll let you know, I was a little concerned there. We were at Arras, where the train actually splits in two. The front part ends up going to Valenciennes and the rear end goes to Dunkirk, but we're delayed somewhere and there was a lot of concerned faces on the train. I didn't understand any of the French language announcements, but we've made it and we have a whole 2 minutes connection time. So, phew! I had all these different scenarios going through my mind. The first one was just catch a later train to Calais, buy a ticket for a later ferry to Dover, but I knew I would be stranded in Dover, and I'll explain why later on. Plan B was to just give up and head back to Paris and try and get a bus back to London. Well, I can't believe it, 2 minutes. I hate tight connections like that. Anyway, we're on our way and we're back on schedule. I wanted to give myself plenty of time here in Calais, but with SNCF cancelling this morning's earlier train, things are a little bit tight here in Calais. Not manically tight, but I don't have any time to hang around, can't even get a coffee or anything, can't even buy a souvenir. I'm on my way to the ferry terminal. That's where things get interesting. What ferry terminal? Back in the day, up until, what, 1995, you would catch a train to Calais Maritime, step off the train onto the platform, into the terminal. And then with passenger numbers plummeting because of the opening of Eurotunnel, they moved the port slightly east to accommodate cars, buses and trucks. And let's face it, we are an inconvenience, passengers like us, because they would rather process a booking which has a car and 3 or 4 passengers in it than a solo passenger like me. We are an inconvenience. Anyway, as a result of Brexit, they've actually moved the ferry port further out again, and I hate these new modern ferry ports. They've got hectares of tarmac, lanes with directional arrows, booths, they've got elevated roadways, they've got concrete ramps. They're really not very pedestrian friendly. I do not like them at all. So that's where the problem is. What terminal do I go to? Because there's a P&O Ferry terminal at both the new place and the old place. Now on the confirmation it says, go to port B. That's really useful, but no one actually refers to any of the ports as A and B, not even P&O. On the P&O website it's void of clues, and even on the official Port of Calais website it doesn't refer to them as A and B. So I'm going to go to the older of the two and keep my fingers crossed. Now there is a shuttle bus which operates in Calais. It's called balad'in, or is it balad'in? Balad'in, that's what it is, balad'in. And I can't remember whether it operates every 20 minutes or it takes 20 minutes to do the full loop. Either way, I haven't got time to hang around on the off chance it turns up. So I'm walking because I know I will be there in 20 minutes. Like I said, I'm heading towards the older of the two terminals. I looked on Google Street View and it actually shows the balad'in bus stop next to a big sign that says foot passengers, and I thought, aha, we're on the right track. Then I looked at the date of the image and it was a year before the new ferry terminal opened, which opened in, I think it was October 2021. So I guess we'll find out in around about 15 minutes, won't we? When I travel, I like to be organised, and this morning has been very disorganised, and I don't like that. I like to be organised because it reduces the chances of something going wrong and the need to use a plan B. But if you think this morning has been disorganised, wait until you get to Dover. There are storm clouds on the horizon. I'm not looking forward to Dover because I think we might have a slight problem. I'll tell you about it when we get to Dover. One thing I've noticed about the drivers in Calais, they're a little more polite and courteous than the ones in Paris. Already, while standing at pedestrian crossings, I've had a few actually cross and actually indicate, go ahead. In Paris, they actually speed up or aim for you. Right. I think I'm heading in the right direction. This looks like an industrial estate, but I think that's the plan. I was just thinking, I hadn't seen any sign of this balad'in bus, and I was crossing the pedestrian crossing there, and what stopped and waved for me? The driver of the balad'in bus. I don't know how many of them they have, but he was heading away from the port, so I definitely missed that one. So I'm sort of glad I didn't hang around for the next one. And I think, if Google Street View is correct, it should be just up there. I just spotted something which is a little reassuring. Just over there, there's a humongously large P&O Ferry. That could, in fact, be ours because it's due to leave in around 1.5 hours. And there is actually what looks like trucks coming off it now. But I'm just looking for any sign to indicate foot passengers. It's just around this corner here. We're there. They've extended the route up there. I better get moving. Annoyingly, on the balad'in website and their official map, it still doesn't show that extension. And this new place opened in October, I'm sure, last year, so that's now 8 months? Come on. Right, we should be there in about 10 minutes. Yeah, we're going to be running a little bit late, but I'm pretty sure we'll still get on. Well, I've just been overtaken by a balad'in bus, which is a little confusing because according to their map, the bus stop was back there at the roundabout, but he's now entered the port itself and has disappeared around that roundabout and underneath. So who knows? I've always said foot passengers often arrive on foot. The clue is in the name. Oh, they make it so difficult for foot passengers these days. We are an inconvenience, I'll tell you. Let's hope we can track down this balad'in bus, see where it's went. Right, even the pavements here have disappeared. That's not a good sign. Absolutely sweating, but I've just made it, just.
To Dover 95 minutes over crossing light northerly breeze. Calm seas, that'd be a very smooth crossing all the way over to Dover. If I can find the asset.
Well, the next problem to be overcome is the fact the ferry's running about 20-25 minutes late. I've got a 50-minute connection time at Dover, and I'm not convinced I'm going to make it. Stay tuned to see if I can make it. In the meantime, I'll put myself some lunch and a coffee. At least that's us on our way. This was the one part of this trip which hadn't been affected by any cancellations or amendments of any sort, and this is what could snooker the entire journey. We're running 25 minutes late. I have a 50-minute connection time. 25 minutes. It's going to take me about 30 minutes to walk into the centre of Dover. That could be interesting. Right, let's go outside. Like many people in the UK, I've got an issue with P&O. Earlier this year, P&O sacked several hundred employees and then promptly replaced them with foreign workers at greatly reduced wages. That didn't go down very well. Unfortunately, on this kind of route, you don't have much choice. because like I said before, DFDS on the Dunkirk to Dover route don't accept foot passengers. Well guys, the White Cliffs of Dover are in sight. I booked this trip about 2 weeks ago and it was supposed to be a straightforward journey. And I swear 20 minutes after finishing the last part, I switched the TV on, watched the news, and the headline was, Britain is facing its biggest rail strike in 30 years. And I thought, I bet you one of the days affected is what I've just booked. Sure enough, yep.
Good morning and welcome. The biggest rail strike in 30 years is underway, with an almost total shutdown of the network in England, Scotland and Wales.
So there are no trains from Dover to London. Now that's reminiscent of British Rail in the 1980s, isn't it? Dried sandwiches, dirty trains and train strikes. So the RMT union have actually put a train strike on just for me today. So I'm having to use a National Express bus. That leaves from the centre of Dover. Normally I'd have 55 minutes to get that. I think we're down to about 25 to 30 minutes to cover 2 miles. And I think I'm going to have to run for this, I really do. So I'm not going to be chatting to you between Dover dock and the bus. Fingers crossed I make it, otherwise I'm going to be stranded in Dover tonight.
Attention all crews, Stair Marshal, please open the gates. Stair Marshal, please open the gate. Thank you.
Yeah, she was in there. There's a way that London would set 1,000 buses too.
Just got me the address from where I'm going.
The timetable is dated 2017, but it's slightly out of date. I imagine it's still.
It was just 2 hours to there. And
half an hour later, so 25. I think I just read
with about
300-400 bus stops. But yes.
Already kicked it off.
Yep.
Thanks a lot.
Was it a good
It's very pretty though, isn't it? It's very pretty.
Yeah. It's a cute little place.
Okay, time for an update. The 25-minute delay on the ferry turned into a 50-minute delay, and as a result myself and 4 others missed the bus from Dover to London. We all jumped into a taxi. The guy drove like a maniac through the streets of Dover, but we actually missed the bus by 5 minutes. So, 2 went off on their own, and myself, Jess from Seattle, and Eve from Zurich all decided to catch a local bus to Canterbury. Now it's heading in the right direction, but we're still a couple of hours away from our destination in London. They've gone for a wee walk. I'm trying to work out where National Express leaves from tonight. The problem is the bus at 6 p.m. tonight is full, and I'm hoping that if I stand around and I'm nice to the bus driver and someone no-shows, I'll be able to get on board. That should give me at least enough time to get into London, because the plan was, after this video was shot, to catch the overnight bus back to Glasgow. But the whole thing is kind of falling apart. On a positive note, I've met 2 very nice people. We had a very relaxing time at Starbucks, and I saw a bit of Canterbury Cathedral. But I'd still rather be getting home. So I've got a little while to go. I'm going to try and find out where this bus leaves from, because the main bus station seems to be operated by Stagecoach and there is no signage whatsoever for National Express. So I'm guessing they still leave from there. Who knows? This has turned into an unusual video. Now, if someone had said to me 2 weeks ago, do you think you'll ever find yourself in Canterbury? I would have said, somewhere between nil and none. And here I am. Worst case scenario is I have to overnight and there will be trains running tomorrow, but but it's just the additional expense and blah 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 blah. Right, let's try and find out where National Express leaves from. Okay, I'm tired of wandering aimlessly around the streets of Canterbury. Time to return to the bus station. I know exactly where the bus leaves from now. I couldn't work that out before because it's not at the bus station. And then I'll practice what I'm going to say and turn the charm on. We might actually get on the bus tonight, I hope. No comment. Not tonight. It would have been nice to have stayed at the Hampton by Hilton tonight, but unfortunately I'm already out of pocket too much. I'm staying at a little hotel down here just on the outskirts of the town centre through booking.com. £55 a night, that will do. And then they've got the free Wi-Fi and I can work out how I'm going to get back to London tomorrow morning. I believe the trains are only off today. There should be a train service tomorrow and then I still have to get home to Glasgow. This whole thing has gone a bit pear-shaped. I'm staying at a place called the Maiden's Chambers, which is actually above a pub, but it's a beautiful room, 2 single beds, £55 a night. That will do me nicely, thank you. It's got free Wi-Fi and I'll be able to work out what I'm doing tomorrow to get into London and to finish this video off, because it just seems to be dragging on and on and on. Right, I'm going to have an early night. I'll see you in the morning. Hi everyone, it's just gone 8 AM. I should have been home by now in Glasgow, but I'm still here in Canterbury. But the good news is I can hear trains running. That means I should be able to get home and finish this epic video. So in around an hour's time I'll be heading off to Canterbury East Station. Wish me luck. I arrived here with plenty of time because I had to collect my prepaid ticket from Euston up to Glasgow, and I was buying my ticket from the guy at the ticket office and he said, you may as well catch this train and not wait for your normal 9:19 AM departure because that one might have technical issues. That could have meant I was stranded in Canterbury again. I'm feeling confident. I'm confident I can at least get to London and finish this video. Goodbye, Canterbury.
Currently being held at a red signal and will be on the move shortly. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this service is going to be delayed by approximately about 30 minutes. We are currently awaiting an attachment to come up from the Ramsgate, which is running about 30 minutes late at the moment. Just like to apologise for the delay to the service and the inconvenience this is causing to your onward journey plans. Any more information, we'll keep you updated, but at the moment it's running approximately 30 minutes late. Just like to apologise once again for the inconvenience this is causing to your day.
4 service to London Victoria, now calling at Tenham, Sittingbourne, Newington, Rainham, Gillingham, Chatham, Rochester, Bromley South and London Victoria. Many apologies for the late start of this service. This was due to electrical supply problems being switched on this morning, and unfortunately they didn't take too kindly to being switched back on. So
Don't worry about it. It's always like that. Because that's the line. It's always been something.
Well, firstly guys, if you're still watching this nonsense at this point, you must be enjoying this video, so could I ask you to subscribe if you haven't already done so, because after all, you're worth it. And could you please give me a thumbs up, because I deserve it. After what I've been through making this video, I deserve a thumbs up. Now, I contacted P&O Ferries, and I thought, let's see if I can get some of my £179 back, because that's how much I was out of pocket. I know under UK law, you have to be delayed on a ferry more than an hour before you can get compensation, but I thought, it doesn't hurt to try, although I thought the chances of getting something from them were somewhere between none and nil. Guess what I got back from P&O Ferries? Absolutely nothing. Nada. Zilch. Zero. So the company that sacks 800 staff members and then fills the posts with cheaper employees, when you have a complaint, they don't even acknowledge your existence. That says a lot about P&O Ferries. Will I be travelling with them again? Probably not. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It has been fun to make, I think. I hope you appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.